Good evening, viewers around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. You're welcome to Talking Drums. Talking Drums, our program for the global audience today, Tuesday, 13th June 2023. Talking Drum is where we come together as a people in the annals of mankind, like we say. There comes a time when our collective wellness rides on our meeting, the urgent need to talk together. So in a world increasingly pushed apart by our differences, there is no time to, as it is now, to beat our drums of cooperation and dialogue and everything. So Talking Drums look deep into issues, news, as it defines our common humanity. Today, like I said, is another beautiful day. But joining me, my name is Godwin Iweajuwan, and I have my colleagues, my friends, co-hosts, from different corners of the world. So joining me for Talking Drums today is my friend and colleague, Dr. Dumebi Okafor, now in Toronto, Canada. Dr. Dumebi, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well. Thank you, viewers. It's good to have you guys all with us again today for another episode of Talking Drum. We'll try to engage issues that concern us. Specifically in the country Nigeria, it's our hope and will that we would eventually find time to address issues worldwide, because it's about our common humanity. But of course, in the past few months, a lot has been happening with machine gun succession in the political scene, and so it's been necessary to keep our focus on it at this time.
Thank you very much.
With us again.
Thank you. Yes, and also, it's a three-man panel, and hoping to expand. There with us is our one and only Sir George Chukwu. Sir George Chukwu, you're welcome to Talking Drums this beautiful Tuesday.
Well, it is my pleasure to be here, and I want to welcome viewers from around the world. And thank you, Dr. Dumebi Okafor, and my brother, Godwin Iweajuwan. So it is a pleasure to be here. So let's beat the drums of what's happening in our country, because this is the place where you get the authentic information. Thank you.
Good. Let's beat the drums, gentlemen. Before we beat the hard drum, the small news headline in today, as it concerns us, is the tribunal is still sitting as Peter Obi, the LP presidential candidate, tenders INEC forms that he has as evidence. So the presidential petition tribunal is still ongoing. They had an outing today, and Peter Obi tendered some forms. Also happening today, I think we need to get a clip of this. Officially, our girl, Hilda Bachi, has been given the longest cooking marathon certificate. So it's now official. It's no more the news blogging way. It's coming direct from the Guinness Book of Record organization. So I think we need to see that before we go into our Talking Drum discussion today. Let's see a glimpse of that. The official.
Here at GWRHQ, we have recently been reviewing the evidence submitted by chef Hilda Bassi for her attempts at the longest cooking marathon by an individual. The current record stands at 87 hours and 45 minutes and was achieved by Lata Tondon in India in 2019. This is a challenging record with strict rules that must be followed throughout. Including, there must be at least 2 items being prepared or cooked at any time, and the number, name and weight of each cooked item.
That's cute.
Please, yes, it's a long intro, but what matters is officially Hilda, Nigerian owned Hilda Bachi, has been certified. Finally, longest cooking marathon, and she's been given the certificate from the company itself, Guinness Book of Record. But there's something people need to know. She didn't do the 100 hours like they say. What the official said is she made a 93 hour, 93, not 100, because they deducted the times she had to rest. She was given 5 minutes each between the days, 5 minutes in between intervals to take her rest. So it's 93 hours, not 100. But anyway, it's a big one for Nigeria. It's a big one for us, Black people. We're happy for our daughter, our sister, and she has put her name out there on the record. So let's just talk about this before we go into the main discussion. Sir George, what do you say about this? I mean, officially, she's been accredited.
Well, I just say a special congratulations to her, and so many others are coming along. A young man from Nigeria is about to capture the Guinness Book of Record on watching movies. I forgot the name of the young guy, but he's on record. Once they give her the certificate to start, he's gonna get into it. I am telling you, watch this. Before you know it, Nigerians will take over in the Guinness Book of Record. They will try to overtake every single record in that place. Watch. They're out for it. And they're about to take over. Yes.
Dr. Dumebi, there's a young man that is starting the prayer marathon, pray-a-thon. That's what he calls it. He says he's going to pray for 5 days on the stretch. Dr. Dumebi.
It's funny, but there's also a serious undercurrent to it, because for me anyway, it's a reflection of the Nigerian can-do spirit. But you can see how the things they will do well in are those things that are not that will not be tampered with by government. Those things that have no relationship with the intrusion, interference of bad governance. So the Nigerian, it's a parable of our debacle, a parable of our problem. Nigerians are blessed with talent, with wisdom, and with abilities. But we cannot express this because of bad governance, and only in these little pockets of human endeavor that is not fitted, that is not challenged, is not put in bondage by poor governance, can we express ourselves like you have in the music industry today, where they are making waves all over the world.
The movie industry.
We are amazing as a people, but in complete contradistinction to that, we have no capacity for self-governance, unfortunately, because by now we really should be a dominant force and will have broken all the records already in the Guinness Book of Records.
Wow, that's an apt thing to say, Dr. Dumebi. So without government interference, Nigerians will pull up, show themselves.
With good government. If there was good government, supportive government, enabling government, enabling civil environment. By now, I've been on the moon.
That's an intelligent thing to say. Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, we have issues burning in Nigeria as we're talking. This morning, the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly began. I was following the minute by minute interactions and how it was going on right there in the House, the green chamber and the red chamber. As it is now, We have a new Senate president. We have a new deputy Senate president. We have a new speaker and a new deputy speaker of the House of Representatives. Each has emerged today. Today, we saw Senator Godswill Akpabio elected the Senate president for the 10th National Assembly.
Yeah.
And he defeated the Senator Abdulaziz Yeri. So also right there in the Green Chamber was Abbas. Abbas defeated Uwase, and he became the Speaker of the House. So this is what we're saying. Gentlemen, so far, I don't know if you're also following that. The law chamber is in a very pivotal, vital aspect of governance in Nigeria, in any democracy. So how do you see this, Dr. Maybe let me come with you. How do you see Senator Godswill Akpabio running the House with some not too good spreadsheets he has in the past? Take note, he was the chairman of the NDIC. He was one time a senator also, and he has some not too good spreadsheets. I don't know if you are following that. So, but anyway, how do you see this coming up, Dr. Dumebi?
Well, the Senate president is not the entire House. He's only president of a Congress of federal representatives. So, of course, we hope that each and every one member of this assembly would do their best to represent their people and to contribute to the collective voice at the center of government. Also, it's really not about his previous records. It's about what is the vector, the direction of the new regime in Abuja, and if it's one of mitigating, controlling corruption, and forcefully creating necessary changes on the ground for the Nigerian people, then I'm sure the Senate will find the good reasons to toe that progressive and positive line. The problem with Nigeria has always been corruption. I've always said that each person's history is, it pales in the great ocean of, our national story of corruption and waste. But every man has, is entitled to redemption. So if whatever it is, the commitment today is to progressive governance, then I'm sure the Senate will find enough of itself to play a role in that part of progress. But of course, there's a high risk that it will just be business as usual, and people will devolve to simply looking for means of enriching themselves and promoting themselves than what they are supposed to be there to do, which is the general collective good of the country.
That's another good one. George, do you believe it's going to be business as usual? We want to see a lot of change. We want to see a lot affect people, the ordinary man on the streets. We want to see a lot in policies they bring. So what do you say, George? Godswill Akpabio as the Senate.
Godswill Akpabio, you were saying that he didn't have a good spreadsheet. And my question, my response to that is, he among them that is without sin, let them throw the first stone. Because they are a bunch of people that think the same way, say the same thing, and do the same thing. So I can guarantee you right now, as it is, except that the president-elect or the president, our president right now, Tinubu, decides that openly he was going to fight corruption and put to account everyone that messes up, it's going to be the same thing. Because it's insanity for any Nigerian to be expecting any different from this government than the past governments. Because they are all hewn from the same stone. It's very, very unfortunate, but we hope that it would be different. With the Godswin Abia being the Senate president, now they put him there to balance the equation. We have the Muslim executive president, we have the Muslim vice president, and then they wanted to just kind of balance the equation a little bit by bringing somebody from the South who is a Christian, to just balance the equation. But whether he will make any difference or not is because I haven't seen any law that was brought before the House and before the Senate that they argued about and rejected. It seems like every one of them are looking in the same direction together. Nobody wants to say anything. Nobody wants to, trouble the water, with regards to, saying, okay, what are we doing here? You're acting for $800 million for what? Why are we, bringing this money? But everybody, they just assign it, and then it goes. No accountability. Nobody questions anything. Even if when they are caught stealing, it will only be publicized for a brief period and disappears, and nobody asks, oh, what happened to that man that burnt that money? Or what happened to that man that stole those billions? Nobody says anything. So frankly speaking, I'm sorry, I have no hope. Because to me, it's going to be business as usual until they prove otherwise.
So you're aligning with Dr. Dumebi and business as usual. But you said something very strong there. You said they are trying to balance the equation. Dr. Dumebi, the equation is not really balanced if we look at it. When I mean equation, I mean the plan to have a unity government. Tinubu promised unity government, but look at what we're seeing. As it is today, the president is from the Southwest, the vice president is from the Northeast, the Senate president now is from the South-South, the Speaker of the House of Rep is from the Northwest, the SGF is from North Central, Deputy Senate President Northwest, and Deputy Speaker Southeast. Now, it's not really what it should be. They promise a government of unity, but this doesn't look like a unified setting. Dr. Dumebi, are you following up? So
I mean,
the Southeast is not well represented. The Southeast is low there, and that's a major part of the three cardinal. I mean, the geopolitical zone of Nigeria. The sixth geopolitical zone, Southeast tops it. So how do we have these arrangement and somehow the Southeast is not well represented? Dr. Dumebi?
The Southeast having the short end of the stick in Nigeria is a historical sine qua non. It's a given. So that's not new, and it's not news. But what I've always said, my position is that I really don't care about this sort of rationing and ratioing, because it's really not important. It is symptomatic and symbolic of our antiquated, our backwards and retrogressive political philosophy in the country that was talking about regions. The government should be about those who are capable of leading a nation forward, no matter where they come from. So all these, I am not interested in. I think it's barbaric. I think it's backward. And I think it's part of the problem. It distracts from the real issues. If there are a group of people who are capable of moving the country forward, as long as they are Nigerians, it doesn't matter where they're coming from. That should be what we are focusing on. Not if you insist on distributing this in among regions, then you're going to end up giving it to a buffoon because it comes from a place that has to be under consideration.
Thank you.
It should be by merit. All Nigerians should be able to put their hands together. Able Nigerians, who merit the position to come together and move the country forward. I will not get involved in this kind of discussion. I don't believe in it. I think
intelligently meritorious classification is what it should be, but you see how they play it out there. These guys don't even know anything about merit. So if we don't until
those people who are spiritually evolved and philosophically evolved in society continue to speak for the right direction, nothing's going to change.
Yes,
what they are doing today is wrong.
What I'm trying to say is we
My
shouldn't.
mission is to bring that across to in any
Yes,
way.
what I'm trying to say is we shouldn't put our head under the sand and pretend, well, it's not, because that's what they are doing. They keep doing it.
We're not saying, we're saying when you have a platform or you have a point to speak against that mentality. We're not saying put your head under the sand. When I write my articles, I'm always talking about this. Express it. Be conscious of the fact that it needs to be said. There needs to be a reorientation of the Nigerian political mind. All these things are things that divide us and cause all the problems we've had in the past. They have not gotten us anywhere, and we are still doing it. We are still embroiled in them. It's as if we keep forgetting our history and repeat, and we are on an endless repeat cycle. So it is the responsibility of elders of thought, elders of opinion, who know what's going on, who know the right thing, to keep saying it, even if it's just one voice in the wilderness. Keep saying your truth.
But the truth of the matter, Dr. Dumebi, is this: those that we have sent there, what have they done?
Exactly.
Those that we have sent there, what voices do they have? Have I heard any one of them raise up their hands and say, "You people are marginalizing
the sons of the region that has been selected"? It comes with entitlement.
No, they don't. So
it ends up being the same thing.
Yes,
these are not practical points. They're not practical principles.
They're not doing anything. I can understand. I can understand if the people that have sent there, are so strong voiced. Yep. That they are representing their people openly, but why put them there? They go and join the same group. They're all sleeping and they're just, financial fat cats. That's what they're interested in.
Because they go there by the opportunity.
In any way, the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly has been done, and it has kickstarted. And let's see how it plays out. George said it's going to be business as usual, and also maybe said similar thing. Viewers, you're on to Talking Drums. Today, we're looking at all occurrences in Nigeria. Also, right there happening, it started last week, George and Dumebi. Somebody said Lagos belongs to the Yorubas. Lawmakers will pass a new property business ownership law that will favor only indigenes of Lagos. And that's the Speaker of a House called Speaker Obasa. So the Speaker Obasa made this declaration, and it's causing a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, a lot of opinions, and what you have. Take note that the enterprising and very industrious sector of Lagos itself are done by a group of the tribe, the Southeasterners that are originally from the Southeast. And this statement now looks like it's targeting them. George, what do you say about this?
It doesn't look like it is. It is basically Mudashiru Obasa of the Lagos State of Assembly, the House Speaker, the leader of the House Speaker of the Lagos State, came out with this, this, that they're going to be doing this. You understand? Mm-hmm. Okay, so he is proposing a legislation to protect the interest of the indigenous people of Lagos and translating laws into Yoruba language. And, everybody is condemning it. But one thing that I can say regarding this is very unconstitutional and should not even be allowed. But look at what's been going on. Who is condemning who? Because we saw what happened with MC Olumo. Mm-hmm. After he condemned and after he just did everything he did, he got away scot-free. But when somebody who is opened up his mouth and said, nobody's protecting our businesses, they're about to take our businesses away, and said that if they're not going to protect us, let's bring the indigenous people of Biafra to come and protect us. They put that person in prison. Who is speaking for him among the Igbo people? So these are things that we are looking at, and is so glaring in our own eyes. The kind of marginalization that is going on, they don't even care anymore. They're doing it openly. So the fact of the matter is, what this Obasa guy is saying is, number one, unconstitutional. It goes against the Constitution of Nigeria, fairness and equity. and the right of the citizens to be able to live anywhere they want, to buy houses and raise their children. Now, all of a sudden, they bring in this, this tribal sentiments and emotion because they wanted to punish the Igbos because Tinubu did not win in Lagos State. Who does that? I mean, I am saying this, watch this. No, listen to this though. Any Yoruba person who is a public figure need to rise up and speak against this nonsense, because if they don't do it and they pass that law, tomorrow it will be their turn. We don't know how it's going to happen, but it will turn around, because they better speak up against it. There is so much intermarriage between us. We and Yoruba people are not quarreling. We are brothers and sisters. We love each other. And we should not allow these corrupt politicians to bring a bridge between us. We've lived in that state. Some of them, many of them live in our own side. And we have been collaborating peacefully. We should not allow these people to bring this tribal sentiment among us. It's too late for that nonsense to be happening in our society now. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. That's all you have to say. Dr. Dumebi, I hope you're there. The last presidential and governorship election, many Igbos threw their weight behind the Labour Party and his candidate, Peter Obi. Now they are being blamed for APC and Bola Tinubu's loss in Lagos, like George said. It's sad that this is happening. Lagos is a Yoruba land, and against the assertion of some people that it is no man's land, the speaker declared, or Obasa, and he said this and said, therefore, part of our legislative agenda is to ensure the translation of laws passed by the House into Yoruba language. So some of the laws will be written in Yoruba language. And we all know this Obasa is a longtime ally of Tinubu and a staunch member of his establishment. Now he's saying this and doing this. It really looks like a targeted plan against the people. Maybe are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
It seems to be everything's.
Go ahead. We can hear you. You're frozen, but we can hear you.
All right.
Right.
So I mean, in line with what George is saying, and especially in line with what I've always said, I don't have any respect for this sort of situations. Respect to pay to dignify them with any kind of response. But it needs to be said again that these are just a few politicals trying to hijack the political wind of the moment to their own advantage. Nothing about what they are saying or doing, it's realistic. Of course, they can control, the instrument of power, and therefore try to utilize that now, especially now that they're in charge, to utilize that to their benefit. But the truth of the matter is all political desperation. It doesn't matter who they are charging as the enemy. To start with, a lot of Yorubas voted for Labour Party, and I know of Igbos who are staunch members of the APC. So it's not even true. Most of the voting in Lagos was not done by Igbos. It was done by Yorubas and other people. So it is just, it's a fictional, a fictional story created by, politicians who are up to no good, and it doesn't merit anything but to directly counter it with truth. And at any point.
Oh, there.
Okay.
And he was putting out some real good statements.
That's
anyway,
right.
that's
Listen
it.
To this,
we hope they don't revoke. We hope also they don't revoke some of the landed properties and some of the things that the Igbos already own, because this law.
That's going to be, if they do that, that's going to be a war. Believe me.
Yeah,
that's going to be a war, and they better not attempt that nonsense. But this is a good lesson for the Igbos to begin to look to develop their own land.
Yeah,
We have the River Niger. We have the sea by the Calabar. We have all those things that can be developed. If they are looking at this moment and looking at them this way as enemies, come back home and develop your own land. That's what it is. And if they leave Lagos, let's see what kind of money they're going to be making. Yorubas are not traders. They don't trade. Igbos are traders. And I know the type of money being spent in Lagos State by the Igbos, the landed properties, the infrastructures that are being there, and they're being taxed.
No,
so
Yorubas,
they have the same constitutional right as any other Nigerian.
Yorubas are traders, but not as much as.
Yeah, that's not as Igbos.
Yes, they trade. They do a lot of trade.
They do trade, but not as Igbos.
So
the
Igbos
the point is, we with the talking drum condemn such narratives, and it must be condemned publicly, openly. We disapprove of it, and it should not go further. And let all Igbos and Yorubas speak against this type of nonsense. We don't need that nonsense in Nigeria. It's too late for that.
Thank you very much. And precisely being said, with our timing coming to a close, George, beautiful. We sadly couldn't connect with Dr. Dumebi, but we had him. He was part of it. So viewers, this is it, Talking Drum, today, the 13th of June, 2023, and some pretty good voices have been drummed hard. Some good voices have been hit into our talking drum, and we thank you for being part of this. As we go home, we once again want to wish all Nigerians that want to be breaking the records to go ahead. Every young man, every person that feels like he can do something, step out, do your thing. It's out there. Get the name, make a name for yourself. And thank you, George, for coming to Talking Drums. Till we come next week again, it's a bye-bye. Thank you, George. Bye-bye.